Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest, and welcome to the final trading day of the week. It is October 4, 2024. We have about almost exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes left of trading today, which also includes a closing auction. And overall, today can be generalized as a negative day, unless you're heavily invested in oil. And if you're heavily invested in oil, you probably had a pretty good day. In fact, typically when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, apart from playing Wordle, that is actually the first thing I do, is I have a look at how the American indices have performed overnight, and also have a look at the commodities. And the thing that stood out to me among all the indices and commodities was oil, up 5% when I woke up. And apparently that was on the back of some comments from Joe Biden. No idea what he said, but it was beneficial for the oil market. Now, we'll confirm in a second or so if energy sector and indices have had a good day today on the ASX. But before we do that, let's just go through the agenda for today's video. So we'll talk about the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. And then we'll transition into the top 5 stocks of the day. Yesterday, really small companies. In fact, the combined market cap of the top 5 stocks yesterday was about $60 million. Today, I think the combined market cap of these companies could be as much as 10 billion. Yes, $10 billion. And I also am assuming that the smallest of these companies probably has a market cap maybe 20 times the combined market cap of yesterday's top 5 stocks. So it just shows you the companies that do make up the top 5 stocks today are much bigger than yesterday's companies. And then I completely forgot to show you the charts in yesterday's video. So we'll have a look at all those charts I was going to show you in yesterday's video. So I do have about 8 companies lined up. And if I have any time, we'll have a look at some of your comments and questions, and I'll answer those to the best of my ability, or just comment on those to the best of my ability. Okay, so let's get stuck in today's video and start with the ASX Today. So I've just made the assumption, because oil was up 5% when I woke up, that energy sector has had a pretty good day. Let's see if that is a true assumption, because making assumptions can make an ass out of you and me, particularly if you're wrong. And here we go. Energy is up 1.93%. So more than likely, a pretty good day for Santos, even Woodside, Karoon Energy, and a lot of these other oil companies on the ASX. Healthcare is up 0.3%. Not sure what's happening there, but every other sector is down, and down big, including materials down 1.31%. So energy has had a good day, but other mining companies have not, although gold is up 0.52%. So I'm assuming with materials down 1.31% that iron ore has had a negative day. Financials, bad day. Real estate, IT, utilities, all down by over 0.8%. Although I'm being a little bit unfair on utilities, it's only down 0.79%. Okay, so let's transition to the ASX 20, down 0.93%, which is a bigger drop than the XJO, which is only down 0.68. So I would assume within the ASX 20 that the big banks are all down, and iron ore has had a pretty bad day. I am going to say 4 companies up, 16 down. Oh, well off. And actually, that's not well off, being unfair on myself. So 3 up, 17 down. Let's have a look at which 3 companies have had a good day today. Woodside. Well, that's pretty obvious. And CSL. So, healthcare's had a good day. And CSL up 0.19%. And then QBE, for some reason, is in the green as well. And on the flip side, the worst performing companies, 3 companies down by more than 2%. WiseTech, tech company, Rio Tinto, BHP, iron ore. So obviously iron ore, there's a little bit of weakness in iron ore. Goodman Group down 1.93%, and there's Fortescue as well. And then we get into the banks. In fact, Westpac, ANZ, NAB, and CBA all down between 1.24% and 1.74%. So I would say the charts are starting to look a little bit weaker. So what I might do, alongside those other charts I'm going to show you, I might have a look at some of the banks. And there's also Macquarie Group as well. So interesting day when it comes to the market today. And again, maybe a bit of a rotation out of the banks, out of the financials. That was something I mentioned either last week or the week before, that I could definitely see that happening. And I I actually heard that. An expert actually said that the other day on either a podcast or some show. Okay, so let's get to the best and worst performing companies on the ASX today. Starting off with the top gainers. I'm not sure if any companies in my top 5 stocks will make it onto this list. So let's see if that is true. Now, yesterday, Island Pharmaceuticals did make it into my top 5 in at number 3. And it's had another really good day, up 23.8%. But otherwise, most of these companies are fairly small. Now, there is a company that is trading on fairly big turnover, a company called Whitecliff Minerals, up 19% on $2.5 million worth of shares traded. I am assuming this company did release something today. So let's have a look at Whitecliff Minerals, a company I've never heard of before. And they have just announced a large-scale copper discovery confirmed at Ray Project. I'm not going to open this particular announcement up. Share price is only 2.45 cents. So let's just have a look at the chart for White Cliffs of Dover. I know what's it called again? White Cliffs Minerals. And I actually expected a pretty bleak looking chart. This is not a bleak looking chart. In fact, I like this chart because the share price today is at least an 18-month high. It could be even more than that. Also, pretty big volume. Probably the only negative, we have seen a little bit of selling. Share price did get to a high of 2.9 cents, opened at 2.7, went to a high of 2.9, went to a low of 2.2, is currently about 2.4 cents. So we have seen a little bit of selling today for in Whitecliff Minerals. And if we go back a little bit more, yeah, so share price right now is in a longer-term resistance zone because share price traded in this zone back in 2022. And I'm going to put this into my high-volume spec watch list, which I should go through sooner or later. Haven't been through that watch list for a few weeks. Okay, so that's what's it called? I was going to say White Cliffs of Dover again, but Whitecliff Minerals. Otherwise, you can see some companies have had turnover less than $1,000. Terrigan Holdings, Zamble Group, Beam Communications, Thor Energy, I just like the name of that company. Foss Capital, up 15%, and came in number 2, my top 5 stocks yesterday. So, in fact, if you bought some of my top 5 stocks in yesterday's video, you've done pretty well today. Island Pharmaceuticals and Foss Capital. But I did notice today that some of the best performing companies 2 days ago are now the worst performing companies today after a pretty good day yesterday. But just this top performing list is just full of really small companies. Well, there's Mesoblast. Probably should have a look at Mesoblast chart. Up to $1.50. Wasn't long ago the share price was $1. And EZZ Life Science up 10.84%. I took profits in that company just the other day. I didn't completely sell out, thankfully. And I took profits at 460. Now it's up 10.84%. But that's okay. The whole reason I took profits is because share price has gone on a pretty good run, and I want to deploy that cash into other areas. And I'm fine doing that. I don't care if the share price keeps on running. And to be honest with you, I only sold out a quarter of my holdings anyway. And now let's have a look at the best performing companies today by market cap. Oh, Light and Wonder up 7.7%. That company did make it into my top 5 stocks today. In fact, it's made it into number 1. And otherwise, you have Mesoblast, Novonix, Wheatbit, Nano, Electro-Optic Systems. I can't remember this company releasing anything today. And the answer to that is no. So just a bit of noise. Maybe I should look at the chart for that one as well. And Black Cat Syndicate. And there's EZZ and Money Me, MLG as well. Okay, so nothing of note looking at this particular list. Now let's have a look at the top losers in trading today. First, we'll have a look at percentage change. And the turnover here is a little bit more. So a company called Genmin, and then Australia Pacific Gold and Australian Rare Earths, all down by over 20%, apart from Australian Rare Earths, which is down by 18%. All 3 of these companies have a fairly low market cap. Not sure if they have released any news flow today. Let's just have a look at the Australian Pacific Coal, just to see if they've done. Oh, they have released something today. A couple raisings. So let's move on to the next one. I'm not going to talk about couple raisings here. Gen and AR3, just to see if I've missed something that could have forced the share price down. Another capital raising, that will always do it. And what was the other one? Just shows you how bad my memory is. A3 has this company also done a capital raising. Pretty sure I talked about this company the other day. Yeah, significant resource expansion at Copamara. So this could be just profit taking. Profit taking, maybe. Let's have a look at the chart. AR3, this name does seem familiar. Oh, yeah, the share price went a bit of a run, and now I'd say this is a bit of profit taking. Okay, so let's keep on moving down this list of top losers. And yeah, some common name, or not common, but names that have been featured in my top 5 stocks of the day over the past week. Hydration Pharmaceuticals Company had 2 good days the last 2 days. Has had good days the last 2 days, now down a little bit, 11.54%. And there's Orbital Corporation. I think they had 3 good days in a row and now down 10.35%. And this is what I always see. When a company has gone on a little bit of a run, you always see the share price typically then pull back, a bit of profit taking. If it doesn't pull back, that's really healthy. For example, let's have a look at Orbital, whatever it's called, Corporation. Orbital Corporation. So the share price of this company went on a 3-day bender. Well, actually, the opposite of a 3-day bender. Share price went from about 8 cents up to 14.5 cents, and today it's just pulled back. In fact, it opened down 10%. Yeah, so on open, it was down 10% and has gone nowhere since then. That can be a good sign. So the selling was only on open. It hasn't been through the day. So that could be a good sign. And the volume today has been much lighter than it was yesterday. That is also a positive sign for this company. Don't know if I'll trade this because it is in the resistance zone right now. But if the share price can get above 16 cents, all bets are off for Orbital Corporation. Now let's have a look at the top losers by market cap. I do expect, I was going to say, I was trying to think of what sort of companies I would expect here, and I didn't come up with anything. Clarity Pharmaceuticals, I'd say that's a little bit, maybe I can look at the chart for that one as well. And anything else here? 4D Medical, featured in my top 5 stocks, was it last week or the week before? Maybe we can have a look at the chart for that one as well. I'm going to be looking at a lot of charts. Lots and lots of charts, which means I should get a move on and get into the top 5 stocks of the day. Now, there is one company I just want to look at, and that is Atlas Pearls, before we get into top 5 stocks. This company did release a Kobe auction update, and just because the share price has barely moved today, there was no surprises within this. I did actually open up this and have a quick look because I released at 12:46 p.m. So typically when an announcement is released at that time, I might miss it, but I did notice this one, and they did achieve higher prices. And the price of pearls they received was $73.50 per piece. At last auction, it was $65, and they sold about 74,000 pearls. They're also selling pearls through other channels. So not a bad auction result for Atlas Pearls. And the other thing is the chart. I think the downtrend has come to an end. And I'm probably liking this chart a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, definitely the downtrend has come to an end. I think 9 cents is definitely a floor in the share price. And I wouldn't say this is a great looking chart, but definitely not as negative as it was a few months ago. So Atlas Pearls. Now we can get into the top 5 stocks of the day. And these companies are pretty big. We'll start off with Treasury Wines. Share price down 3% today, which you might say is a little bit of noise. They didn't release any announcements today. But this, or the share price performance of Treasury Wines, is not the back of what they're doing. In fact, this is on the back of something they don't have any control over. And I have to give credit to Capital Breathe. They gave me some insights here. For instance, they mention in an article, Treasury Wines lowers on tough US wine market conditions. So there's a company called Consolidation Brands, and this particular company selling drinks, probably wines, that sort of thing. They flagged tough conditions in the US wine market, which investors are saying, well, if Constellation Brands is having a tough time in the United States, then more than likely Treasury Wines is having a tough time in the United States as well. And E&P Retail Analysis, Philip Kimber, noted that Constellation's wines or wine and spirits business continues to face challenges and has struggled over recent years. He said this is consistent with recent commentary by Treasury wines around the current market environment for commercial wines and wines towards the lower end of the premium category. And EEP continues to expect luxury wines to be the main driver of Treasury wines. Funny enough, if Treasury wines did spin out or does spin out Penfolds, I'd be way more interested in Penfolds than the rest of Treasury wines. That's just me. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for Treasury wines. I'm always interested in Treasury wines, and the main reason is because I just remember Scott Phillips talking about this commodity. This would have been quite a few years ago, and the whole reason he was bullish on Treasury wines is because he thought that the middle class in China, which is growing, would be consuming a lot more wine in the future, and Treasury wines would be benefiting from that. And I thought at the time, well, that's a nice theory in practice, but there's a lot of assumptions making that. And at that point in time, I went, he calls himself an investor, and I was thinking at that point in time, you're just speculating about the future. And that is sort of the point where I realized a lot of investors are just speculators because they are forecasting or speculating on a future world that may not come to fruition, and that is actually speculation. Anyway, so let's have a look at the share price or the chart for Treasury wines. And this is I wouldn't not even be thinking about buying shares in Treasury wines right now. There's no trend. There's no trend up, no trend down. In the short term, we have seen uptrends and downtrends, but those short-term uptrends and downtrends don't last very long. What about the longer term? Let's have a look at the weekly chart. Any trend here? And the answer to that is no. Share price, to be honest with you, has been going sideways over the past 4 years. There was a big down period towards the start of 2020. So that was just before. Looks like there was a really bad week. And that would have been just before. Yeah, that was the end of January. This was before COVID-19. So something happened with this company back in January, probably a negative trading update, something like that. Was that around the tariffs? I can't remember. I thought Chinese put tariffs on Australian wine way after that. So something negative happened for Treasury wines back in the start of 2020, and they have not yet recovered. And that was over 4 years ago. Anyway, so at this point in time, I have no interest in Treasury wines. And if you do believe that there is a possibility maybe Chinese people will drink more wine, doesn't necessarily mean they will drink more Treasury wines. It could be other wines. Maybe it'll be local wines. I have no idea if China actually has any vineyards or anything like that. I'm assuming they would. Don't see why they wouldn't. But anyway, just by looking at this chart, I have no interest in Treasury wines at this point in time. It could change if I see the share price moving into an uptrend. So that's Treasury wines coming in at number 5. And I always will follow that just because of that probably a throwaway comment from Scott Phillips maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know why it's just stuck with me, but I think it was just a light bulb moment in my life, investing life. Now, coming in number 4, we have a company called Regal Partners. Now, this company released quite a few announcements this morning. Share price hasn't really moved. Now, 2 interesting announcements. They want to take over Platinum Asset Management. And in fact, Platinum Asset Management chart does look pretty good, but that was on the back of Regal Partners trying to take them over. But also Regal Partners released a funds under management, and funds under management have risen to 17.2 billion. Now, I'm not going to talk about this potential takeover for Platinum Asset Management. However, it does look, I suppose, promising, if that is the right word, that this potential takeover might go through. They just mentioned here that he has signed a confidentiality deed and will shortly enter a period of due diligence with Platinum. Now our question is whether this is a good asset to acquire. Platinum Asset Management has not done a good job over the past 5 to 10 years, but maybe Regal Partners could do a better job than the current management of PTM. But the more interesting thing for me was the funds under management. Now, these sort of companies release funds under management every single month, around this time of month. Yeah. Anyway, so the main thing here is inflows and outflows, not funds under management. And there is a big distinction between that. So you can actually see funds having outflows, but funds under management actually rising because of the fund's performance. Anyway, so the funds under management have risen to 17.2 billion. But was there any outflows? That's the main thing I wanted to see. In fact, I'll just talk about this first comment here. They don't really mention it initially, and a lot of times they will. I'll talk about another company that did release a funds under management today, and the share price has actually fallen, and it won't be surprised that company is Magellan Financial Group. Anyway, June and September quarter funds under management rose 17.2 billion. This was a 41% increase from the 12.3 billion at 30th of June, and a 4% increase versus a 16.5 billion of pro forma funds under management at 13th of June, which included the Merrick's Capital and Argyle Group transactions that completed. So there's nothing about outflows or inflows there, but finally we get a bit of inflow news in the second paragraph. Net inflows over the 3 months to September 30 were positive 0.4 billion. So there is inflows into this particular fund, and that's, in my opinion, the most important thing. And also down the bottom of that particular paragraph, this brings total net flows for the first 9 months of calendar year 2024 to $1.2 billion. So this company, or this fund manager, is seeing inflows and also pretty good performance when it comes to their funds under management. Anyway, so share price flat. Market doesn't care. So let's have a look at the chart for Regal Partners Limited. Oh, by the way, Treasury Wines has a market cap, I'm thinking 9.5 billion. I actually did not expect that. While Regal Partners has a market cap of 1.2 billion. Okay. So that's a little chart for Regal Partners. Now, that is the weekly chart. This is the daily chart. And I am trading this at the moment. It looked much better when I took a position, but you can see that fair bit of volatility in this company since I made that particular, or took that particular position. And I really would like to see the share price of this company get above at least 380, but preferably about 390 to really confirm the uptrend, because just look in the last 6 or 7 months, share price, we'll say 4 months, share price looks like it's trading in a range between about 320 and 380. And right now it's 349, right in the middle of that range. So this could be a position that I might sell out of if it just remains in this trading range. Anyway, so that's Regal Partners coming in at number 4. And lo and behold, coming in number 3, we have Magellan Financial Group. This is another company that released their funds under management. Now, I will always look at this company's funds under management when they release it, because there is one thing I'm looking for here, that is inflows. And they're always going to have a look. Now, they make it way more simple than Regal Partners, much cleaner, much simpler, much lower, no, I was going to say verbose, less verbose than Regal Partners. And they just mentioned straight away, in September, Magellan experienced net outflows of 0.2 billion, which included net retail outflows of 0.2 billion. Net institutional flows were flat, but funds under management actually did rise from 37.8 billion to 38 billion. Now, what is interesting is if you go to Capital Brief and you just read some of their headlines here, Magellan shares tumble despite FUM or funds under management boosts. But it's not that the funds under management actually rose. It's actually that they still have outflows. There's no inflows. So just be aware that you are looking at two things. You want to see inflows, outflows, and also funds under management. And that's why the share price of Magellan is down today by about 3%. Now let's have a look at the chart for Magellan Financial Group. And is there any reason to be excited right now? And the answer to that is probably no. This is another chart where share price, or there's no trend, just like Treasury ones. There's no uptrend or downtrend. If you have a look at the weekly chart, share price dove a lot a few years ago. And I'd say right now, Magellan Financial Group is going through a long consolidation period. And for that reason alone, I am actually paying attention to this particular chart, because if it breaks out, all bets are off. It looked like potentially it was breaking out back in August. We had a nice little 3-day run. Share price got above $10.50. And I thought, oh, this could be it for Magellan. And the share price pulled back fairly sharply. I think they went ex-dividend, I think. on the 20th of August. Let's have a look. 20th of August, did they go ex-dividend? For some reason, I think they did. Yeah, 20th of August. So just this company going ex-dividend just completely destroyed their potential breakout and uptrend. Okay, so that's Magellan Financial Group. Share price has dipped a little bit today on the back of their funds under management announcement. Now let's have a look at the company coming in at number 2. Company with the ticker code HMC Capital. Pretty sure this used to be called Home Consortium. I have not looked at this company before. I'm pretty sure they're like a REIT or considered like a REIT. It says up here, Equity Real Estate Investment Trust, REIT. Media articles regarding potential data center acquisitions. So straight away I went, ooh, the market might like this. Data center acquisitions. And so obviously this might be a little bit of rumors within the media spectrum. And what does this article say, or this particular announcement say? HMC notes the media speculation released by various media outlets dated 3rd of October and 4th of October. I probably assume that was AFR. Could be completely wrong. Consistent with the strategy noted in HMC's financial year 24 results presentation announced to the ASX on 21st of August, the company confirms it is under due diligence to potentially acquire various data center assets, including Global Switch Australia. So that would be interesting if they do go or continue down this path. Now, HMC Capital is a leading ASX listed, diversified, alternative asset manager specializing in high conviction and scalable real estate strategies on behalf of individuals, large institutions, and super funds. So real estate, private equity, energy transition, private credit, and digital infrastructure. I have not had a look at this company in the past, but just a mention of data centers, I was like, this could be interesting. So let's have a look at the chart for HMC. And just the very fact that this company is interested in data centers, yeah, this is the first time I had a look at the chart, and I actually expected this. If the market was aware of this link with data centers, I could. This makes sense. This absolutely makes sense. So this is a nice looking daily chart for HMC Capital, and if you have a look at the weekly chart, share price nearly at an all-time high. Interesting enough, $8 is a very important level for this company, and it should be plain to see why. Share price got to $8 back in September 2021, fell all the way back down to $3.50. Now is back at $8. In fact, it's $8.50. Oh no, the support level or the resistance level is $8.50, not $8. And the share price is right on $8.50 right now as I speak, right at a resistance level. If it breaks above $8.50, that would be a bullish move. Not only that, share price got to $8.50 a few weeks ago, in fact 1 month ago, and then pulled back. Just shows you the importance of resistance levels. $8.50 is a resistance level. And the whole reason $8.50 is resistance level, if you don't believe me, is there are a lot of investors who know the share price of this company got to $8.50 back in 2021. They saw it fall all the way down to $3.50. Some of these investors might have taken a position, and they see the share price get back up to $8.50 and went, ooh, not long ago, the share price was $8.50. I can take my profits now. So there would have been a little bit more enthusiastic selling at $8.50. And if we see the share price get above $8.50, some of those who sold out might jump back in because they could be expecting the share price to fall back, because that's what they saw back in 2021 into 2022. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that is the sort of the psychology when it comes to investors. Some investors might not even know. It just $8.50 seems like a good number to sell my HMC Capital shares. And that's why if the share price fell back down to say $3.50, if it did, that's why that would be a support level, because people think, ooh, HMC Capital went from $3.50 to $8.50. Now it's back down to $3.50. Oh, I could buy some shares in this company, and it could more than double from here. Anyway, a nice looking chart for HMC Capital. Nice. And that's coming in at number 2. Coming in number 1, we have Light and Wonder. Excuse me. Share price up 8.65%. Share price not long ago fell 18.4% on the 24th of September because of a successful legal bid by Aristocrat to stop Dragon Train. No idea what Dragon Train is. There it is, update on Dragon Train litigation. And today, Light and Wonder announced or released an announcement, Dragon Train litigation update. Now, when you see a negative announcement like update on Dragon Train and Aristocrat is successful, which does harm or slightly harm Light and Wonder, people automatically, because they are investors hate risk, or they hate risk, or really hate risk. So immediately when they see this announcement, they sell. Sell first, ask questions later. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I think we're seeing that today. Share price up 8.65%. Some of this was just a clarification. It's interesting because this is a sort of an American company. So this is United States Securities and Exchange Commission. It's a little bit different than ASX announcements. And they're just going through some stuff here. They also released a video, which I have not looked at yet. There was an article in Capital Brief about this. Where was it? If I can find it. Light and Wonder shares surge as it builds new version of Dragon Train. So I'm pretty sure Aristocrat was successful in halting the rollout of Dragon Train or something, or Light and Wonder couldn't. They had to stop any machine that was using Dragon Train. I don't know. Anyway, so Light and Wonder shares gained as market open after gambling company responded to a US court order restricting it from manufacturing and selling its new Dragon Train poker machines. Shares were up 5.7% early in the day. Now they're up about 8.5%, having had their value slashed. Doesn't tell me anything. As part of court orders, Light and Wonder are building a new version of Dragon Train. That actually article tells me absolutely nothing. Anyway, there was a little bit of information here. So this is sort of maybe a transcript, I'm assuming. They're talking about how this will impact the North American market, how it impact the Australian market, that sort of thing. Can you talk about plans to develop a future version of Dragon Train? And their intention is to build out Dragon Train 2 in compliance with the order. And it seems like things are still moving in the right direction for this company. So again, this seems like when the company did release that initial announcement on whatever date it was, 24th of September, there was an overreaction from the market. And a lot of times when you do see an overreaction in the market, that can be an opportunity for you and me. So it seems like this could have been that sort of situation. The market overreacted. It leads to an opportunity. And the share price has recovered now. In fact, before today, the chart started to look really ugly. So I think this definitely was, well, maybe not definitely, but this was a really potential overreaction from the market. This reminds me so much of, say, ResMed, the market overreacting to Ozempic. Reminds me of Macmillan Shakespeare back in 2013. The market completely overreacting to the government talking about novated leases or something, changing the regulation within that, in regards to that, something like that. But anyway, this does lead to opportunities when the market does overreact. So don't forget, the market hates risk, and this particular announcement they released on 24th of September just increased the risk of Light and Wonder. Okay, so that's all I've got for the top 5 stocks of the day. Now, to be honest with you, if I saw this particular chart, I'd probably not buy in I wouldn't buy in. That's just me. It's a little bit different than ResMed. ResMed is a high quality company. Light and Wonder, I don't think is just there yet. Although I am a holder of this company, by the way. I do own shares in Light and Wonder. Now let's have a look at charts. I have about 15 charts lined up. Let's have a look at Narada. Yeah, this one's all over the place. Yeah, up and down, trading between about 9 cents and almost 12 cents, down 13.9% today. Just all over the place, Narada. Let's have also a look at, I was going to look at hydration, pharmaceutical. I've already had a look at Orbital. I'm going to have a look at London Metals, LM8. This does actually look pretty good. So a really good announcement the other day, really high volume coming in. And the share price continued to go up. In the last 2 trading days, we haven't seen much selling. Share price is remaining in that sort of between 27 cents and 30 cents range. So share price hasn't pulled back. That's a pretty good sign. The volume has really pulled back. I would not be surprised to see London Metal's share price take off over the next few days because the lack of selling, the lack of pullback in the share price. Let's move on to the next one. Mithril, silver and gold. Oh, so we have seen the share price pull back significantly from about 80 cents down to 50 cents. And today we might have seen the bottom. So we have seen a little bit of buying coming in. Share price up 7.3%. Share price at one point today did go as low as about 43 cents. So we have seen a fair bit of buying coming in during trading just today. And if you have a look at the 1 minute chart, yeah, the bottom was just before midday, and then a bit of buying has come in, and that's why the share price has rallied about 20% since the bottom. I would call this the bottom in for Mithril, silver, and gold. What else? Biome, pretty down day yesterday. I'm assuming share price is up today. Yeah, up a little bit, but this is just a beautiful looking chart. Share price up and then down. It's like going up and down in waves. And the most important thing is if you look at the peaks in the ridges and the bottoms in the troughs, you make sure that the tops in the ridges are higher than the previous ridges and the bottoms are higher than the previous bottoms. That's a definition of an uptrend. So higher highs, higher lows. And this is just playing out perfectly. Share price going on runs, then pulling back, going on runs and pulling back. And maybe this pullback has or is coming to an end at around about 68 cents. Might go down a little bit lower, but maybe 60 cents. But it's looking a little bit more promising. So that's Biome. Brain chip. Yes, this is I wouldn't be in this at all. But share price has been on a run. Had a bit of a pullback yesterday. And today's share price is flat. I'm going to move on to the next one. And let's get to some of the charts I was looking at today. So let's have a look at CBA. Am I getting a bit of a sell signal for the banks? It's starting to look a little bit negative, but don't forget, start of August, there was a few big down days in a row, and then the share price started to go higher again. So is this just like then, a buy the dip situation? We have seen this a few times in the past year, when there has been a buy the dip situation. In fact, we've seen about 3 times, significant buy the dip situation for CBA. April, August, and now, question mark. But the share price has pulled back about, not quite 10%, but it's getting there. And I would assume the other banks are looking maybe a little bit worse than CBA. No, very similar. NAB, ANZ, yeah, it's a little bit worse. And then Westpac. Oh, this is down like, was it 7 or 8 red candlesticks in a row? You don't want to see the share price of this company moving any further down. And the reason I say that is this level here is an interesting level because that was the highs the company, Westpac, saw back in August before the little bit of a dip. I wonder if the other charts look like that as well. Let's see where CBA's share price right now compared to just before the dip. Well, CBA's share price is much lower than the start of that dip back in August. Anyway, so Westpac might, I don't know. They all starting to look a little bit weaker, and I don't have any trust that this is a buy the dip situation because they are overvalued. Mesoblast, this one. Whoa, share price has really gone on a run the last 6 or 7 days. Share price has increased from below $1 to $1.52. And the last 2 days, we have seen pretty big volume. I would say day traders are getting interested in this company. That is what, unless there's rumors out there that maybe some FDA favorable news is going to be released from Mesoblast. I don't know, but a really interesting chart for Mesoblast and Electro-Optic Systems. I do own some shares in this one, but I'm not trading it. And there, the chart is all over the place. A nice little support level at about $1.20 though. But the share price is well above that right now. And I would say there's Real no trend in electro-optic systems right now. It's trendless. It might have friends, so it's not friendless, but it's trendless. Clarity Pharmaceuticals, share price down a fair bit today. Is now time to sell? I say no. So today, share price is down 10%, but really low volume. If I saw much higher volume, I'd be like, ooh, interesting. And we have seen this in the past. We saw this on the 5th of August, down 12.9%. We saw it back in June, down 7.4% and 5.2% in consecutive days. And this is not a reason yet to be concerned about Clarity Pharmaceuticals. It's just one big down day. But it could be the start of a maybe consolidation period, or the share price slipping lower. Might be, not an absolute. Might be. And 4DX, 4D Medical. Ooh, share price has really pulled back. Yes, so this is exactly what you don't want to see. And when a share price looks like it might have broken out. So 2 good days and now 3 bad days out of the last 4D Medical. Okay, that's all the charts I really need to show, or just wanted to show you. Some of the charts I missed yesterday. I didn't show you HPC. It's the only one I didn't show you. So hydration, what's it called? Hydration Pharmaceutical Company. And they're up yesterday, yeah, 13%. So 2 good days in a row, and now probably a little bit of profit taking. But all the volume, really low volume today. That's a pretty good sign that we haven't seen a rush to sell their shares in the Hydration Pharmaceuticals Company. Now onto some of your comments. So let's start with Sensei, who says, my voice sounds exactly like SBS journal Marc Fennell. He was on TV earlier, and I thought you were on TV. I have been on TV in the past. Don't think I've been on TV since probably 2018 or 19, but between about 2011 and 2018-19, I was on occasion on TV, on the news. Journalists will come in and ask me about the weather, that sort of thing. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. Anyway, I have no idea who Marc Fennell is. I don't watch any TV. Or when I say I don't watch TV, I mean I don't watch Channel 9, Channel 7, unless I really want to watch something, and usually it's sport. If I want to watch a TV show, I just stream it. And usually commercial TV is dead, in my opinion. SBS is dead. ABC is dead. Channel 7, Channel 9, they're all dead. Rog Jordan. Hey, Mr. Nepp. You can call me Sir, Mr. King Nepp. Oh, King Nepp. Have you had a look at IRI, WRK, and IMB lately? By the way, it's pronounced Regal. It's a character from Warhammer 40k. Regal. Yeah, I don't play video games. I'm assuming Warhammer is video games. Video games, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to forget that. Regal. Okay. Integrated Research. I actually do own shares in this company, and the chart. I don't know what the market is seeing here. I don't know why the share price dove. They released their results on 20th of August. They weren't bad, and I just think there is potential. This company is dirt cheap. So even that chart doesn't look as good as it did, I actually, by the way, I did take some profits, but I took profits at the start of August, and I was thinking of buying some shares. I do have this line here. This would be a really negative price to break below. That's 55 cents. I just see there's potential really good value in Integrated Research if they continue moving in the right direction. Anyway, just based on the chart, I have no positive feelings about this chart just yet, but if the share price can continue to move up here, get above 70 cents and start to move into another uptrend, that will be a good sign moving forward for this company. Worker, this chart looks pretty good. Okay, 2 things I like about this chart, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned Worker in the past, and there's 2 reasons I really like this chart. price action and the volume. So share price has really taken off in the last month and a bit, from about 3 cents up to 6 cents. So it's almost doubled. But look at the volume. The volume. The volume speaking to me. I see that volume and go, someone, probably an institution, maybe a few little small cap fund managers are becoming interested in this company because retail investors are not driving that volume. That's pretty persistent, consistent, higher than average volume. Compare the volume over the last 2 months to the volume from August last year all the way through to August this year. It's just significantly high volume. If you look at the weekly chart, you're going to really, in fact, no, you don't see, there it is. You just see it magnified. We've had 1, 2, 3, 7 weeks of a normal volume coming in. Something is happening with this company. And even though I've been looking at this chart for a little bit, I have not been driven to take a position in this company for some reason. And same can be true with Intelligent Monitoring Group. I did mention this company the other day. I can't remember which video, but it's the volume. The volume of this. We've seen some really good volume coming in since about May. And the chart looks pretty good for Intelligent Monitoring Group. So it's volume and the share price action. We have a few things going for both of these companies. Anyway, so thank you, Regal Dawn. Regal Dawn. Zihim Himgor. Hi, Kneppy. Any thoughts about Tasmea? TEA. New company, chart so few information. Any suggestions in mid to long term? Okay, so I have a position in integrated research. I'm not the biggest fan of the chart, but I do think there is definitely an argument that it is cheap. Tasmea, it is a recent listing. I have taken a trade position in Tasmea because the chart looks pretty good. Now, I do have a rule not to buy into an IPO unless the company has released either a positive trading update or they have released their first financials, and Tasmea have done that. So this company listed May, was it May? Late April. From when they listed all the way through to late August, then the company did release their results. The results were received favorably from the market. So that's the key here. Release financial results, the market liked it. And now I could have bought on the day or like a week after at $1.75. And someone actually did write a comment. They actually did buy on this channel, and they did buy some shares at $1.75. In fact, I have bought my sell point for Tasmea at $1.75. So if it gets below that, sell. But I did buy at $2.07. So I'd actually waited, probably way long. I kept following the chart and going, oh, maybe I'll just wait for a little bit of pullback. The pullback never happened. So I thought I'll just take a position on a one-day pullback at $2.07. And now the share price is $2.20. So already up 20% on this particular position. Now, I had a very quick look at their results, had a quick look at the valuation, and I went, I don't think this company is overvalued. That's the main thing. And if the company, and what is the PE ratio? It's like a 16. If the company can keep on growing. Now, there are a few things I don't like about the company. It's sort of like it's like a conglomeration of all these individual companies, sort of like a roll-up model. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of that, but if they can keep on growing over the next few years, you're going to see more and more and keep on becoming profitable, grow their margins. What you're going to see is more and more institutions are going to do their research on this company and will want to take a position, and that can drive the share price higher for this company. And I do like taking positions in recent IPOs at this point. I did that very successfully with IPD Group many, many years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. There is $1.44 in 2022. So just after they IPO'd, because this share price increased straight away, and then they released it would have been results. On the 7th of February, share price on that day increased 15%. And then I took a position the next day, and I could have just waited, sort of like what I was trying to do with Tasmea, because the share price actually did pull back. But I have no reason to sell shares in this company just yet, although share price is not really doing anything. I do have a sell point for IPD Group at $4.20. Anyway, so that is what could happen with Tasmea. Anyway, Mid to long term, I'm just trading this, just trading it. I have a sell position and I won't sell, and I'll lift that sell position. If the share price keeps on increasing, I'll just lift that every so often. And then I'll sell Tasmea when I get a sell signal, not until then. HBK Fortis, how long would you wait for a stock consolidate before buying in after a breakout or pullback? And is there a certain high quality stock that you're waiting for a big discount? Thanks. It was Supply Network, but then I took position in Supply Network because I don't think there's going to be a massive pullback unless we get a massive correction in the market. And that's it. I think every single company, every single high quality company I want to have a position in, I now have a position in. Yep, I'm pretty sure that is not only here but also United States. That's not absolutely true, but I think I'm set when it comes to my high quality companies at this point in time. How long would you wait for a stock to consolidate before buying in after a breakout or pullback? How long would you wait for a stock to consolidate? Well, before buying in, trying to really understand this, how long would you wait for a stock to consolidate before buying in after a breakout or pullback? Okay. I think you sort of got some of my answers when I talked about, so Tasmea, let's have a look back at Tasmea. So how long would you wait for a consolidation after a breakout? So yeah, so if you have a look at Tasmea here, there sort of was a breakout when they released their results. And the share price then went sideways for about 6 or 7 days. And I should have just bought in. I was thinking, I should just buy in at $1.75, a nice little price. But then the share price took off. So sometimes you can see a consolidation period for months. For instance, Neuron Pharmaceuticals, let's go all the way back to 2021, was it? When was there? Oh, here it is. That's it. So their share price for Neuron broke out on December 21st, 2021. Share price continued to increase the next few days, and share price got to about 350, and then share price went sideways from December the 9th, 2021, all the way through to July the next year. So we're talking about a 7-month period where the share price just went sideways. Yeah, just went sideways. And I was holding throughout the whole period, and I was just like, I expect the share price to go higher. And then it just started to go higher, creep higher in July. No reason behind it, I don't think. Just started to go higher. So that sort of consolidation period after a breakout can last a very long time. So in some respects, you do have to be patient. So sometimes a company doesn't go through a consolidation period. Sometimes share price will keep on rising. But eventually, you do want to see a consolidation period. It's very healthy. You want to see the share price take a breather. And the reason it's healthy is if the share price keeps on going up, you can't really tell what's the conviction of the holders. In a consolidation period, what you will see is anyone who doesn't have a high conviction will sell out because they become bored. And that's very healthy. So you get rid of the low conviction holders, and some of those who buy in might have a high conviction. And that's what will drive the share price high, because you don't see any selling pressure when the share price starts to run up. If the share price keeps on increasing, those with low conviction just keep on holding. Some of them will sell, take profits, that sort of thing. So that's why I think a consolidation period is very healthy, because you do see sort of a recalibration in the shareholder registry, if that makes sense. Anyway, hopefully that helps, HBK Fortis. Hopefully I made sense. Kishan Kumar says, hey, Kneppy, what are some of your favorite stocks for 2025? High quality stocks? High quality stocks. Yeah, I don't have favorites, just companies I own for the long term. Yeah, that's about it. Companies I own for the long term. So high quality stocks. Like the problem with when you're talking about 1 year period, I can't tell you which companies are going to perform really well that year or not perform well that year. No idea. It's actually a very short time frame. A 1 year period, you might laugh at that, but a 1 year period is a very short time frame, and no one has any idea what companies are going to perform that year, what companies won't. In fact, some companies that have significantly underperformed in 2024 will be the best performers in 2025. And on the flip side, some of the companies that have performed really well in 2024 might be the worst performers in 2025. So over a 1 year time frame, I would never, ever say what my favorite stocks are because I just have no idea. And no one has any idea. And that is the benefit of just using technical analysis. You just go with the flow. Which companies are trending well, which companies have good sentiment and good trends, and just ride those trains as long as possible. That's the way I am looking at it. Raven says, just interesting to see a stimulus from China. Shanghai Composite up 230% in 2-3 weeks. That's ridiculous. Anyway, and then we get to the end. That's it. And we are getting to almost an hour. Okay, so that's all I've got for today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.